Sorenameka Sirenamakia Serakisi. Welcome. Malaka Saratiki Sereniameka. In this episode, we're going to talk about relaxing breath and why the breath is so important during any of your processes during the Kundalini awakening. So before we start into this, as always, I invite you to close your eyes if that feels safe for you, or just look at a point steady but gently. And let's take a deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth, let it go. And again, deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth, let it go. Last time, deep inhale through the nose. And this time, hold the breath and set up your intentions to receive when you're meant to receive during this transmission, during this podcast episode. Just feel it in you. Allow this to really create an opening within yourself. Whenever you're ready, exhale fully. Oh, beautiful. Welcome. Welcome. So the breath, why is the breath so crucial during any kind of process that you have in your awakening experience? Very simple, because it brings you back into presence, into really what is going on. So you're no longer the being of the energy that is just being moved around and pushed around by all the experiences, but then you are unconsciously aware of what is going on, and you choose to be with that experience, whether the experience is joyful, because at times when we're in this journey, we might forget, I totally did, about the joyful moments of this experience, yeah? And this is one of the reasons why we do inner work, shadow work, inner child healing, ancestral healing, blah, 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 etc. To really be joyful in our lives, to really look at life and to see the beauty of it, right? So the experiences also can be very blissful to the point that it's like, holy smokes, how can I hold this inside of me? But yes, you can. Of course you can. And of course, in the other side of it, there are the moments that are very challenging and very painful. Yeah. And this is exactly where we need to use the breath more consciously. Of course, we'll talk about these two sides. Yeah. So let's start with the more joyful side. For sure, at times, if you have had this kind of experience where it just opens up your heart so much, or even your womb, and you feel so overwhelmed by all the beauty, by all this awareness, and then you're like, how can I stay with it? You know, I've had so many of those moments that I just had to stay with my breath, and I had to trust. And I love doing this. I love trusting my journey. But it was challenging, and it wasn't a dark experience, what we call dark experience, but it was a very blissful and super duper unconditional love experience. And so in those moments, I also had to remember myself to stay present with my breath so I wouldn't freak out. So we have this condition, which is really funny, that only in the darkest parts of the awakening process we can freak out, because I mean, gosh, it's painful, whatever it is, whatever labels we put into it. Yeah. But on the other hand, you know, the very joyful and blissful moments can also take us into the freak out mode, because we might feel that it's too much to handle. You know, if you have had one of those experiences, whether it's through a process that you went through in your own awakening experience, or through plant medicine ceremonies, it's literally like, whew, almost like hyperventilating, you know, like, holy smokes, okay, let me hold on to something to make sure that I'm not falling off or something. And so in this kind of experience, even though it's blissful and so joyful and so opening too, because that is what it's doing to your system, you know, whenever you have such a deep blissful experience, is because your system is ready to actually live in that experience, not just in what is happening at that current moment in your life, but throughout your life. It's like it created an opening for you to be like, holy smokes, I can also experience that without anything in my life, without being in a, who knows, in a mushroom ceremony, ayahuasca ceremony, or any other kind of ceremony that you do. But in my daily life, This is what your system is opening up to, and your system is so ready. So those kind of openings are really wonderful and beautiful, because then, it's really this awareness of like, wow, I've done so much inner work, and I know I can experience that also, because otherwise it wouldn't have showed up in your life. And so here is those moments. When you have those moments, again, one more time, it's so important to go back to the breath, the relaxing breath, to go back into your prana, like inhaling and exhaling through the nose. So then you can stay present. So then you go, wow. That's what I like to do. Anyways, it makes it more joyful and liveful. So again, we do have to remember, it's not just using the breath consciously in what we call dark experiences, but also in blissful experiences, because these two sides of you will merge eventually. This is what the divine union it is. The dance is the dance of the masculine and the feminine energies is beautiful, and having the centerness of it all. So now let's talk about a little bit of this dark experiences. So these dark experiences, of course, the breath is as crucial as the light experiences. But let me just say a side note, okay? It's not just about these experiences, but throughout in your life. So you're present, so you're here, so you're not missing anything that is going on around you, because presence is what brings awareness. And you can be with yourself and everything that is around you in order to see how beautiful it is, okay? So in the dark experiences, the reason why it's so important to really be with your breath consciously is so that the energies just pass through you. So that you don't go spiraling down and down and down and down in your shadow world, which at times is totally necessary, but at times is absolutely unnecessary. And it just brings more pain than, like, who wants to experience more pain? Yeah, I mean, I don't want to experience more pain. And it's also, not grabbing onto things that no longer serve you. In order to hear more about that, you can tap into my last episode. I don't carry, I flow. So I go more in depth into that. So going back into the dark experiences, imagine just your breath, okay? Your breath being the opening to a creation within your being. So as you are going through a process of release, a process of awareness, there are multiple choices, but let's talk about two. So there's two choices. There's the choice of just spiraling down and down and down into your deep shadow world and allowing just the energy and the process just to lead you. Yeah. Or you can use your breath, that as you're spiraling down, because it happens, even in any kind of process, you begin to go down a little bit. What I talk about this is like traveling down into your inner world, not like lowering your whole vibration system. And so as you're traveling down, the breath can grab you and then creates this bubble around you of protection. So then rather than continue to going downwards, then you're just here in this bubble. Because guess what? There's vibrations and this awareness of this release of the lower shadow worlds of your being. It's already present in here. It's already present in here. It's already present in here. It's present everywhere because it's you. Okay. So then what happens? Then right here with the breath, you are aware of what's going on in your experience. And rather, again, they're going like deep in and down. Then what happens? The breath takes you up and the energies just begin to release through you quicker, more gentle, and then there's less pressure in your being. So I invite you to remember one of the processes that you had where it was just like too much to handle, and maybe you were so deep in your shadows for, sometimes it happens for days, you guys, for days, literally. And you know what happened? Yes, of course, you came out of it and then you were stronger and things like that. But was that really necessary? I mean, how can we really know? But then I invite you to, then whenever you have this kind of experiences, if you've already had it, to totally surrender to the experience. When we surrender to the experience through the breath, this is how you stay consciously aware of what's happening in your process. Then there is no holding on to anything because you're totally relaxed. You're like, okay, I surrender to this. I let these energies pass through and cool. And so what happens, your system, rather than being like tense and freaking out because of what's happening in the process, it just softens. It softens and the energies move through you. And then something else comes up, rises up within your system. Breath is so crucial in the awakening process. And of course, it's crucial in life. This is how we stay present one more time. So let's go into some practices of relaxing through the breath, because it's so important one more time to know what to do when this is going on. So the very first thing, when you feel the process coming through, when you feel this memory rising up, or just energy, or maybe you have no idea what in the world is going on, what I like to do, and when I tell my students and my clients, I hold my heart. Sometimes I just hold my navel or my womb, and I breathe. Inhaling deeply through the nose, exhaling deeply through the nose. Super simple, super simple. You inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. And what are you doing inside of yourself? You're telling yourself that you're safe, that you're worthy, that you're being supported, that you're being guided. Sometimes I even say like, thank you. And I say this out loud, like, thank you for this experience. Thank you for this struggle. Thank you for this breakthrough. I might not even understand what in the world is going on, but I know it's something for the greatest good of me and the rest of the planet. And you can say that out loud if you would like to, but it's really important to breathe. So let's just do this exercise, okay? And of course, you can do it at any time, not necessarily when you're going into a deep process, just when you don't feel present with yourself. So I invite you to close your eyes one more time if that feels safe for you. Let's take a deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And again, inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And continue to go at your own pace, inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. And as you're doing this, repeat within yourself, I am safe. I am protected. I am guided. I am loved. And then, of course, you can add anything else that you feel called to add. Maybe even thank you for this experience, because I know I'm about to break through. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Do you feel the shift in energy? It's so wonderful. And right now, I'm not even going through a process. I'm just sharing this with you because it's so important. And it really shifts like the energy field like this, especially when you add the gratitude part. Like, thank you. Thank you for this experience. It's a wild experience for sure, but thank you. Thank you. And now, what I'm being called to share right now is that if you hear the wind, this is the wind of Cusco, Peru. This is where I'm located at this moment in time, and it's sharing its wisdom and its love with you too. Just so you know what's wondering behind the scenes. Now, let's go into another really beautiful breath practice that it helps you to balance the both sides of the brain, both hemispheres. Again, it's super simple. And there's things you don't need to do like hours upon hours of this. I mean, maybe if you have the time, cool. But you can do of this breath exercise, you can do like 3 minutes. And the other one, what do we do? Like we did a couple of rounds of breath, super simple. So what you do, you can sit cross-legged position on your sit bones, or you can do this in chair too, with your feet grounded on the floor, pressing the tips of the fingers right in front of the heart space. And you really want to press gently, but firmly. right in front of the heart. Roll the shoulders back and down the spine. You close your eyes. You inhale for 5 counts. You hold the breath for 5 counts, and then you exhale for 5 counts. And then you repeat this. You can do this again. You can start with a minute if you feel that it's like too much. And or you can go straight into 3 minutes. Very simple. What is happening here, we'll do it in a minute, the practice, but what is happening here, because you are pressing the tips of the fingers together, then your brain, your mind have something to actually divert what is going on, right? So rather than your mind wandering around, it's like, ooh, what is this pressure happening on the tips of the fingers? And it's easier to do the practice while the mind is occupied. Yep, this is why mantras are super powerful. So again, firm pressure of the tips of the fingers, but gentle. Okay, closing out your eyes. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And let's begin. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold the breath. 5, 4, 3, 2. Exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2. Inhale again. 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold the breath. 5, 4, 3, 2. Exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2. And continue at your own pace. Inhaling. Inhaling for 5 counts. Holding the breath for 5 counts. Exhaling for 5 counts. Let's do 2 more circles. Hold the breath. Exhale. Inhale again. Hold the breath. And exhale. Relax your hands onto your knees or your thighs. Keep the eyes closed and just be aware. How is the shift within you? How does it feel from before we started the practice to now? And then feel the openness in the heart too, the lightness of your being. Whenever you're ready, open up your eyes. It's a very simple practice. It only takes for you to commit. Again, we probably did that for a minute, maybe a little bit more. And I'm not sure how you feel, but I can tell you from my experience, I feel very balanced. I feel very centered. I feel light. My heart feels expanded. Wonderful, right? So these are simple tools you can do. Again, whenever you start going into, and not necessarily, but I'm talking about a process in your awakening journey. Whenever you're starting to enter a process, then you can breathe. Inhale deeply, exhaling fully. And as you're doing this within yourself, repeat that you're safe, that you're being held. Something else that also comes through for you that you really want to say within yourself, like telling yourself, because at that moment you are in a way convincing yourself, convincing like, okay, I'm safe, I'm here, I'm present, everything's happening for a reason. And thank you. Like the gratitude part is so important too, because again, it shifts the energy field. And then, once you feel a little bit more established and more centered, And you can do this as you're going through the process, or maybe even after the process, just bringing the tips of the fingers together in front of the heart space. Yeah. And you can also do this if you feel that you're not ready to go to dive deep into the process that is about to happen to you, because then it balances it out. And then the process doesn't feel like it's like building up around you, but it's like more gentle. And then when it comes in, it's more like waves, like gentle waves of the ocean. Imagine the waves in the Philippines or in Thailand, right? There's not like the waves of the Pacific Ocean. If you are familiar with that anyway. If not, I'll just give you a little secret. Anyways, I hope this served you well. Please feel free to share this with any of your friends or family that you know that will resonate with that. Not necessarily if you're going into a process, this is just very simple techniques for you to be present in your life, which again is so important through this journey too. And let me know in the comments and send me an email. I will put it down below so you can just click it to see how this has served you. Deep, deep love to you. Many blessings, and I'll see you next time. Ciao, peace.